So I know it's been a while since the movie came out, but honestly, I found this one kind of hard to do a review for. Because while I have a lot of stuff to say about it, it's kind of hard to come to an overall opinion of the movie. I'm kind of, I guess, getting a bit notorious to giving like every superhero movie a bad review. Although I guess I gave like Captain America 3 a really good review, like Batman vs. Superman and Man of Steel a good review. I don't know, I often kind of like the ones that other people dislike and dislike the ones that other people like. But it is what it is, and I digress. So, this movie had like good elements and some really shitty elements. And it was just really hard for me to kind of take a view of it one way or another. I guess I'd give it like a 7.5 to an 8 out of 10, but it's very uneven. Like I said, like some elements I really like, some elements were complete shit. So let's just go into the backstory. So apparently back in the day, Zeus created the Amazons as a race of warrior women to protect humanity from the corruption of Ares. Okay. Now here's a couple things that make zero sense. In the movie, the clear majority of Amazons are African, but they were created by a Greek god to protect the Greeks. So it's like we was Amazons is kind of the plot of this movie. It's like we was Amazons and shit. All the Amazons were we was Socrates and shit. So the movie posits that the ancient Greeks were actually black, and the ancient Greek gods were actually black, and that Greece was actually part of Africa. Is kind of one of the main theses of this film. It's also in the movie probably to make it like more Black Lives Matter, or I guess Amazon Lives Matter when the Germans randomly attack. So apparently Ares gets pissed off that that Zeus made the Amazons, and then Ares single-handedly takes on all of the gods together and kills all of them. And there's a lot of gods, so he takes on like dozens of gods and beats them all at the same time. And we're supposed to believe this. We're supposed to believe that he beats Hera, the Titans, Neptune, Athena, the other god of war. He beats all of them without breaking a sweat. And he also fights Zeus. And so Zeus and Athena can't beat Ares. So Ares is stronger than Kronos. He's stronger than who is it? Saturn. He's stronger than Saturn. He is the strongest god in existence, which makes no sense. Apparently Zeus sucks. Apparently all the gods suck except for Ares. And Wonder Woman's somehow able to beat him despite only being a half god. I don't know. None of it makes any sense. So apparently before Zeus dies, he manages to fuck the Hippolyta, the head of the Amazons, like as he's dying, and he impregnates her with Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman, despite being a half god, is able to beat Ares. So I guess hybrids are stronger than full gods. So like despite Jupiter being the first and best and the Lord of the Sky, he still just sucks. How would you even kill Hades? Isn't he the god of the dead? I don't know. None of this makes any sense. So Diana grows up among the Amazons, the majority of which are black, because we was Amazons and shit. I'm really tired of this bullshit. Like, this just randomly inserting Africans into everything. Like, if you watch anything now that takes place in the medieval era, like 30 to 40% of the cast are now black, like the backgrounds. Which is completely ahistorical, and it's just something they made up. But it's just the way it has to be now. Because we was Europeans and shit. It really reminds me of the we were always at war with Eurasia thing. Like when they just suddenly are like, oh no, we weren't at war with East Asia, we're now at war with Eurasia. And that kind of thing. But it is what it is. So Hippolyta doesn't want Diana to be trained, because if Diana's trained, then Ares will return. because Ares won't return if Diana isn't trained, because Ares wants humanity to destroy itself, and he won't want humanity to destroy itself if Deanna isn't trained, and Deanna somehow grows up despite her being born like 2,000 years ago. But I guess she grows up. Nothing about this movie makes any sense. Okay, so her aunt succeeds in training her. So, I don't know, we have like a lame training montage where the queens succeed in making Wonder Woman into the ultimate Amazon. So then there's a allied pilot who is also a spy who crash lands on Themyscira, somehow breaking through the mystical barrier. How he got there, I'm not sure. He was in Turkey, so I assume Themyscira is in the Ionian Islands, or is it the Aetolian Islands? Whatever, that the ocean there. And he's followed by a German destroyer, and the German destroyer decides to invade Themyscira, so they get into boats with Car 98s and attack the Amazons. So the Amazons prove to be the worst divine warriors ever, as most of them seem to die immediately by being shot once, which is actually worse than how normal humans would do, because a lot of humans can, well, at least survive for a couple minutes after getting shot, especially in a non-vital area. But the Amazons suck so much they die in like one shot or get stabbed once. It appears their magic armor does absolutely nothing, nor does any of their superhuman powers help them out. So they get their asses completely kicked by the Germans. And these aren't even German regulars. These are German sailors with guns. They don't have machine guns. They don't have cannons. They don't have pistols. They just have the fucking Car 98s. So they managed to beat them through superior numbers eventually. And they rescue the Allied pilot. The Allied pilot reveals that Ludendorff has has another, like an underling named Dr. Poison, and that they're planning to develop this poison gas super weapon that they're going to use to turn the tide of the war, and it's being built in the Ottoman Empire. So Wonder Woman decides she's going to go back with the Allied, with, I guess his name's Steve Trevor, with Stevie, back to fight in World War I, because she believes it's the apocalyptic war that's being caused by Ares. That Ares was the one who led them into war. So she sneaks away with him before she leaves, taking the Godslayer, which is a sword which she thinks can kill Ares, but she's actually the Godslayer, because the whole movie is about her discovering the power that was within her the whole time, which is super lame. So this is when the movie starts to get better. So they go to London and they find out that that the war is about to end, and they're reluctant to send they don't want to go and destroy the gas plants and end the chance of an armistice. So Steve, with a group of mercenaries and Wonder Woman, go off to take out Ludendorff's secret production facility, like kind of like a CNC Commando mission, and save the world. On the way there, the movie starts to actually get good and kind of stops being lame. We get this truly amazing scene where they're basically pinned down in a trench and they're unable to move forward, and Wonder Woman calmly walks across no man's land, deflecting bullets with her gauntlets and shield. She even manages to stop a machine gun. As she's walking and all the Germans are shooting at her, the rest of the Allied troops run forward and overrun the German lines. We then get an awesome scene of our party taking back I don't know, I guess it's a French or Belgian village, and being celebrated as heroes for doing that. We also realize that Wonder Woman is now in love with Stevie Boy. So, yeah. So we have kind of a cool scene where they infiltrate the Ludendorff's castle when they're having a ball, and Wonder Woman becomes convinced that Ludendorff is actually Ares and that killing him will end the war. So Ludendorff eventually is able to unleash the gas on the town they just saved, killing everybody, which is actually a pretty kind of deep and dark thing to have happen in this movie. So they then make it to the airbase where Ludendorff is planning to load all the remaining gas into a bomber bound for London, hoping that destroying London will rally the Germans and reverse the course of the war. So Diana and Ludendorff fight. Ludendorff has this super soldier gas, and Wonder Woman succeeds in killing Ludendorff, but the war does not immediately end, nor is there any indication that he's actually Ares. However, the real Ares shows up, and he tells Diana that he's been giving them humanity weapons over the years. So she tries to use the Godslayer to kill him, but it turns out the Godkiller is not him, not the sword, but is actually Ares. But her herself, because she has the power of a god, because she's a demigod, but she can defeat a god who defeated all the other gods. It makes no sense. So basically, Ares tries to convince Diana that humanity is corrupt and evil, and that she should join him and help in a quest to destroy humanity and recreate paradise on Earth. While the two are fighting, Stevie and the rest of the team blow up the laboratory, and Stevie blows himself up along with the bomber carrying the gas to a safe altitude to prevent the gas from killing anybody. So this makes Diana realize that humanity is worth saving because there's still good in the world. There's still people who are willing to fight and do heroic things and sacrifice themselves. So realizing that Ares is actually wrong about humanity, she goes forward and succeeds in destroying Ares somehow, and the war ends. So the film ends with her back in her office thanking Bruce Wayne for giving her a picture from World War I and reaffirming that love is the key to humanity's ultimate salvation. So evaluating the movie as a whole is difficult. I didn't find the movie super, paused or super feminist, to be perfectly honest. It seemed like a fairly typical kind of coming-of-age story, kind of losing your naivete about the world and kind of sinking into cynicism, because Wonder Woman initially sets out believing humanity to be good and wholly corrupted by Ares. However, she becomes cynical and believes humanity to be evil. However, at the end, the heroic sacrifice of Steve causes her to believe that humanity has inherent worth and is worthy of being saved. And that ultimately it will be humanity's love for one another that will save them. Now, this is kind of cheesy and somewhat generic, but it is more or less what we believe as Christians. That ultimately God's love for us will be what saves us. And that's kind of good. The movie as a whole, I didn't really find made too many social commentary things. The biggest single issue with this film is the "we was Amazons" and shit, which actually really pissed me off and made the first third of this movie completely unbearable. But on the whole, it's not a bad movie. The war scenes are very well done. The action is very different. It's not too often you see someone with kind of traditional hoplite gear, I guess you could say. Or I guess she's more of a hypespe because she has the short sword instead of a spear. It's not often you see someone like that fighting. It's nice that they picked World War I instead of doing another World War II movie as the setting for it. Her and Chris Pine have good on-screen chemistry, and Gal Gadot does a good job playing Wonder Woman. So it's kind of a mixed bag of a film. I think in a lot of ways, if it was better edited and better directed, it could have been a much better movie. But it's far from a bad movie, and it's pretty good overall. I guess kind of the problem with it is kind of the way people are interpreting it as a feminist movie, go out and beat up the world kind of movie, Down with Men kind of movie. Honestly, I don't really think that I don't really think that was necessarily the point of the character per se, or I don't know. It's just very difficult. Like, I don't think Chris Pine really gets cucked. I don't really think he's shown as like being a weak or emasculated male. Like, Wonder Woman's clearly stronger than him, but he's still like a badass. He still beats people up. He still gets like to be at the center of the movie by sacrificing himself to save millions of people's lives. So overall, I'd say it was a pretty good movie. I think the worst part of it is the movie response and the We Was Amazons. I don't think it deserves the praise it's getting, giving it an A out of 10. It's not really... It's not a great movie, but it's a good, solid movie. If you kind of just want some popcorn entertainment and to kind of have fun and just turn your brain off for 2 hours, it's a perfectly decent film, and I probably recommend seeing it. So, hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll talk to you later.